That's a Shame is brought to you by the people who support us over at patreon.com/shamecity.
If you have $1,
$2.
$1 to spare, join us again at patreon.com/shamecity. Please.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Love is in the air. Do, 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 do. Love is in the air. Do, 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 do.
Wow.
Hello
Hi.
and welcome to maybe the most romantic episode of That's a Shame ever printed right onto your ears.
Wow.
It's episode 165.
One of the hottest love numbers.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's taken us a while to get to a romantic episode because as hot-blooded cis men, it's hard for us to talk about love because...
Well, we don't know what it is.
We don't experience
I never
that.
had any in my life. I've never done any to anyone.
No. Well, I know. And, I've had that in the air from many a woman you've known. So it's not something that is necessarily at the top of our list.
We're
to
not
discuss.
love gurus.
No, and also you may notice that in spite of some pleas from listeners and indeed our families and our loved ones, sincerity, not often the watchword of the day.
I don't know.
With us,
I think that's
or especially when it comes to the show itself.
Maybe
because our last episode was a quiz about me loving Madagascar.
Oh yes, I did love that.
So it's hard for us to get down to the meat and bones.
The machine code of sexing.
Yeah, well, no, you see, here we have to make a distinction. See, you've done it again.
Go on.
You've jumped straight into sex there.
But they are intermingled, are they not?
They can be. They needn't
but
be.
they needn't be in some situations. In fact, in some situations, they need not be.
Exactly.
Like the love you have for your disciples. You mustn't
or your
cross that
pets.
line, or your pets.
Your family. That is a big one here. That's a shame.
In some parts of the UK, they do follow that rule.
Yeah.
In others, less so.
Yeah.
Shame.
That is a shame.
Kissing cousins and that.
Don't have to bring it up.
That's what they all used to do in the past, isn't it? Everyone was fucking cousins.
Past, that was terrible.
It's because the only person you knew didn't have TB was someone that you were around so long, like for 15 years of your childhood, that then you grow up and marry them.
They were sort of the only people that you could reliably depend upon to be maybe alive.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not going to excuse it.
It sounds like you condone it.
I'm just gonna nod along.
Nod along to incest.
Sure. You know how sometimes, when there's that like guy on the bus who's screaming and ranting,
Yeah,
and you're like,
fucking his sister.
It's not worth engaging, is it?
Very, very seldom, no.
Unless he's doing an active crime at someone
Yeah,
else.
if he's doing an actual
then
aggression,
you've got to intervene.
Then you've got to hit him over the head with a paint can.
But if he's just wandering through, not harm, it's best to just go, yep.
Me too.
You go for it, pal.
Yeah.
And hope that he doesn't come back your way.
Doesn't target you.
Exactly. But what listeners won't necessarily know is that you have been in the burgeoning phase of new love.
Have I?
You have.
Okay.
Not necessarily in this realm.
Ah, okay. A separate, much better realm.
Yeah. Called the Valley of Stardew.
Stardew Valley, yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about Stardew Valley.
Well, it's a lovely, peaceful part of the world where I like to go and live in a digital realm when everyone's gone to bed or when everyone's out or sometimes when people are in but you don't want to engage with them in a big way. All you do is you boot up your Nintendo Switch. We're not sponsored by them yet, but I would take an Animal Crossing Switch as soon as you can.
Bite their hand off, he will. Before he has to beg Mr. J. Sainsbury to pay for it for him.
Please, Mr. Sainsbury, I'll be a good boy. You just dive straight into the pixel world. I'm wearing a very nice hat in there at the moment, a sailor's hat. And boots which do some kind of glowing light. And it's good. It's good there. It feels good. It brings me back because I'm originally a very rural person. My people are descendants of the mountains on one half.
The mountains of the world.
The mountains of Grenoble in France.
I thought that you
And
were,
then on the other
I thought
side,
you were-
yeah, it's the rural Wirral area.
Oh, the rural Wirral
It's
area.
out in the Cheshire
Downs.
Gorge.
Cheshire Gorge was what they were originally going to call Stardew
Yeah,
Valley.
but it's really crazy there. It's like the UK's Appalachia in many ways. Fewer bears, but more dogging.
Now-
So it's hard to say who's got more danger.
Now, within this realm, you start off as a single person. You as a single man.
A lowly, isolated, every man is an island kind of figure.
Much like in life, you have to fill up your heartometer.
Yeah, because man is born alone and man shall die verily alone also.
That you have to fill up with each individual person.
Yeah, but even if you do, you're going to be lonely when you die as well.
Yeah, no, we're all...
Because you can't take it with you.
We're on board with that.
The other people and
We
their
all
souls.
know.
And when you've died, you'll just be an empty hollow
We're
corpse.
talking about the bit where you're on the mortal coil.
That's just a little blip between cradle and grave.
It is, and perhaps that's why we're
That's
focusing
what
on that.
Nabokov calls it in his autobiography.
Wow,
The little
well,
flicker of light between cradle and grave.
that's nice to know. Thank you for bringing that up. Nabokov.
It's a love episode.
Nabokov, famous for writing about death
for understand.
and noncery.
Death and nonsense.
that was his autobiography title, was it not? Now, now
It's a
the
big
heartometer is about friendship, but it can
It's got an undercurrent to it.
every now and then be about something just a little bit more than that.
I've got to say, for me, it's always a little bit more than friendship. And my default mode in Stardew, as in some parts of my life, is
just
you've
as a
gotta
fuck machine.
Just keep the ambiguity there.
Oh, I
Never
see,
really
yeah.
let people know what you are, whose face you're wearing that day. My character in Stardew Valley is also called Isaac. That was just a random choice, I think.
Wow.
He looks a bit like me, a sort of younger, more optimistic me that has deigned to go to the valley rather than to the peak where I sit atop Mount Privolo. He does share some of these characteristics, and I notice sometimes when I reflect back on what we've done that day, I notice him very much playing the field when it comes to just shifting gifting.
And is that there a distinction between your real life and virtual self?
I wouldn't like to comment.
Oh. See, most people, they would have just flat out gone, yes, that's a...
They say you can't testify against yourself. And so...
and yet they do also say that pleading the fifth does make you sound guilty.
That's just cynicism. Look, when Jesus wrote the Constitution, he did it for a reason. And each one of
And it
those,
was so he could
especially the
fuck
second,
each one of the disciples.
is there for a big purpose. And
Right.
it's not for us mere
Fair.
English mortals.
No, fair enough. That's fine.
to comment on.
You don't have to. Now you have taken, in spite of your insistence on fucking everyone, was it?
No. It's just that you want to find out what their favourite thing is. You want to give it to them because you never know when you might need to get in Pierre's good books to
Right,
get
I
some of
see.
them fat seeds.
Get in his bed.
When crop times are coming, you got to sprinkle those fat seeds, and Pierre's the man for that.
But it's not Pierre for whom you've taken a particular shine, is
It's
it?
not, and in fact, I hate the cunt. I want his shop
Bean
crushed.
mongering bastard.
I want his fucking little convenience store taken. Normally, I'm a great supporter of local business. Sainsbury's. Can't stop. ITJL just over there. I'll give him all the dime I've got. But in the case of Pierre and his local grocery establishment, when Jojo Mart comes a knocking, I probably will switch over to them in the hope that they kind of withdraw all the capital and really stomp him out of business. He's a horrid guy.
Yeah.
You should have seen him, the way he spoke to me at the fair when he was like, my Grange display is going to win. And I was like, confident but quietly so, because I didn't really know how much a gold sea cucumber was valued by the mayor. Turns out he loves him. And Pierre was cucked by me.
It's quite involved, this other life that you've got,
It's a really
isn't it?
psychosexual drama. It's Lynchian.
You're impressing the mayor with your cucumber.
Yeah, he doesn't know where to look. He's
mad.
left his shorts somewhere. Can't tell you where.
It's for a young maiden who goes by the name of Hayley.
Oh, Hayley. There she sits atop her ivory tower, hating every aspect of country life.
Now, it is interesting that you have chosen, and I don't like to use this word, but we are going to have to for the
go
show.
on.
You have chosen the biggest bitch in Stardew to make your one and only.
Yeah.
Your little valley princess, you keep calling her.
My LVP.
Yeah.
I don't normally say the whole thing out loud.
He does, and he sort of sings it like Little Valley
Princess.
I nearly did it in Monster Seeking Monster. Little Valley Princess.
Yeah, Hayley. Now you've mischaracterised her there, and I'll tell you why. She's a complicated.
She's horrid.
She's a complicated, horrid witch.
She's selfish as well.
She is selfish. But aren't we all?
Well, no. Some people are very generous.
Even whether
it's people like her that are responsible for the homeless man Linus.
Whether you're Vladimir Putin or you're Kofi Annan, we're all driven by a rational self-interest. One could argue, I'm not going to make a claim either way, but when I studied the philosophical arts, they did say sometimes, if you want, just say everyone's selfish and it justifies any action. How's that for a moral code?
And he was a reverend, wasn't he?
He's all about it. All about it.
Well, that's interesting. Now, the thing here is that, novice when it comes to the romancing game.
No,
but
far from it, sadly.
I have noticed that it's taken you quite a while to get to this point.
That's by design. Thank you for noticing.
And, well, it's not really because...
Yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, like, Bryony's only been playing it for about a week or so, and she's already got a girlfriend, so
that's fine.
So it's interesting.
It's quality and not quantity of time.
Yeah, well, hers is a fantastic and talented, successful artist, and Hayley's just a sunflower stealing.
Can't be that successful. She lives in a valley.
She chooses to because that's where her love is.
Isolation, self-exile, checking out of society is the ultimate cowardice.
So what I thought I'd do is I'd go to one of the most trusted sources on the online.
Okay.
To try and find you some help. Just a couple of ideas. I'm not saying
I don't need it. No, I will accept it.
I'm not saying that you need all of it. What I'm saying is just to inspire the creative juices within you, just to remind you, because sometimes, when you're drifting between the virtual and the real, you do get a little lost.
Yeah. It's easily done. We all do.
And what I'm going to say is you could potentially use some of these for your real life girlfriend.
No need.
Who, in comparison to Hayley, I believe feels very neglected.
Listeners, that's not true. You can imagine how lovely I am to be around. It's a 10.
Well,
it's a 10 of 10.
Maybe we'll get her in
when
she gets home.
She's out.
That's fine.
No,
when she gets home, she can just come in, we'll ask and see what she says.
She's busy playing Mini Metro.
So I found a couple of WikiHow articles.
I love WikiHow.
I know you do.
Now, I will just reiterate again. One of the pieces of good advice that I read when I was a younger man, seeking to understand the interactive tete-a-tete, which is just daily life, isn't it? A war, a battle of the wills, mine dominating yours, thanks to its super strength and resilient characteristics. Super sanity, of course, coursing through these veins that I'm holding in front of your eyes even now. Don't touch the veins. They're not for you. They're solely for the very nice man who takes my blood every few minutes and tells me that I have the veins of a very strong young man. He said I had the veins of an
ox. He lives under this bed, does he?
He's living in that cupboard. Dr. Phlebotomist, whatever they're called. Now, one of those things I read was that if you want to build rapport with someone, it's slightly counterintuitive, and maybe this will help you out in your future.
Yeah.
You ask them to do you a favour, and for some reason, despite the fact that usually that's quite out of order, if you've only just met someone, and you're like, oh, mate, will you fucking
pay my taxes,
my rent this month? Then they'll be like, oh, okay, I guess. And it sort of tricks them into thinking that you're much better friends than you are. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to accept all this advice. Not that I need it, because Hayley and I
was wondering where you were going with
thick
this.
As thieves.
With this very superfluous.
The blood of the Stardew Covenant is thicker than the water of whatever we've got going on, where you just lie about my life and relationships on air. So I'll accept the WikiHow advice, but I'm just here to say that it is only... So it's to build this rapport. For you, for the listeners.
Well, you've...
But no, let's go for it.
No, well, you've kind of ruined the last part of the show. But
No, I won't have done.
That's fine. No,
I doubt I have.
It's absolutely fine. So this first one, because basically I've got a couple that are going to track... No, you didn't.
Sorry, I was gargling a bit of water just to get ready.
It's going to track through the stages of your relationship. So like how you're going to start that.
Okay.
Then what's going to happen once you're there.
Hayley and I met at the...
at
the blacksmiths. She was going for an ice cream. I was going to open a geode.
Nobody cares.
And so, but I thought that's what you were saying.
No, it's not. No.
We could edit in a little...
We don't have to.
A dream sequence back to how it all started, if you want.
So this first bit is how to write a letter to a girl outlining your respect for her.
Outlining my respect. Okay.
Yeah.
That I've never written a letter of this quality.
Exactly. See, and this is why you need the help.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Now, step one is, I think, and I think this is often the case, but never more so than here, the most important step.
Yeah. You want to lead with the big one.
Step one is deciding that you actually respect her.
Important.
If you don't think that she is worth your respect, then don't write her a phony letter about it.
Because it's quite a nice sort of logic puzzle. In writing a phony letter of fake respect, you are ultimately undermining any respect you could have
You're
had.
disrespecting, you see.
Yeah,
It's deeper than
it's a vicious cycle.
It's deeper than it seemed for one sentence of a man looking, I'm going to say pensive, but also like he might wet himself.
Slightly horny as well. He looks like he's done a great joke out of his midriff.
Step two, and I think this is where we're starting to get into something.
Can I just check as well?
No, you
Does
can't.
this work for every gender?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because it's a little bit narrow.
Unfortunately,
scope.
WikiHow is a bit like that. They're quite a regressive community,
a lot of scum on
as we're
WikiHow.
probably going to come along to find out. But this is where we get to something that I know is right in your wheelhouse in terms of the creative process, which is make a separate list of all the things that you respect about her.
Okay.
Focus on character traits, not her looks.
Yeah, that's
going to be difficult for you.
You can't
because
respect someone's looks, can you?
No, and it's going to be difficult for you because of the things that I have had established about Hayley from you.
Yeah.
Is number one, you think she's smoking.
I've never.
I believe you said the phrase banging.
I've never said anything of the sort.
Every time you turn on the switch, you're saying that. And then
that's a lie, listeners.
I respect
Hayley's
in his voice.
intellect.
Listen to the panic in
I'll
his
tell you
voice.
what I really respect about Hayley.
Well, it's nothing because as we've established,
there's
even
something.
you believe that she's fucking wretched.
That's what it is, though. I respect that she hates everything about Stardew Valley, but she's still living there.
She's an open eugenicist, listeness.
That's not true. You can't slander my good wife like
he
you can't
just keeps
slander
bringing
Goody
her
Doyle.
sunflowers.
Goodness.
This list is separate from
Do you
your
think
letter.
she's making opium out of my sunflowers or something? I know that's popular, but
definitely.
there must be something bad you can do with them.
This list is separate from your letter, so that you can
Don't
refer
send
to
the
it.
list by accident.
So you can refer to it as you write, in case you forget or overlook something that you
That would
respect
be a
about her
real
when
shame,
writing, and you wouldn't want to do that. There's nothing worse than putting
I
it
do
in the
love
post.
to be thorough when I'm writing respect letters.
Yeah, when I write a letter to a woman explaining how much I respect her, I hate it when I just drop it in the letterbox and then I remember one thing.
Yeah.
One more thing I respect about her.
I love to make my respect letters to women just outrageously long, to the point that part of my respect for them is that they don't even have to finish it. Like, maybe read the second part tomorrow.
That's interesting because I would have thought that instead exhibited a lack of respect for their time.
No, a real respect for their flexibility.
Things that you respect can be any personal quality or action that is not a physical attribute.
Okay.
Instead of telling her she has pretty hair or clothes, tell her that you admire her creativity or sense of taste. Instead of telling her that she is a great athlete, tell her you respect her drive and perseverance.
Okay, that's an interesting
But don't
one.
say any of those things to Hayley because she doesn't have any of them.
How would you change... So let's just quickly workshop. If I were going to be like, I'll be the what not to do, and then you do like, here's what you have to focus on in the workplace.
Okay.
You correct it. So if I was going to go up to Hayley and be like, Hayley, you've got a great head on your shoulders. It's a powerful head. It's shapely. How would I fix that?
Well, the way you'd fix it is you wouldn't say any of the things you said, apart from starting with Hayley.
Or shapely. I could get shapely.
Don't say shapely.
You've got some shapely mind. Your
mind, we're getting closer there. You're getting closer, but
your pink brain between the white skull
you're
bones,
focusing on the physical again.
Oh, fuck.
What you should say is...
Not superficial, though.
Hayley,
Yeah.
you have an admirable disdain for the world.
That's true. I do think that.
Yeah, and, maybe she'll like that.
Yeah, she
Probably
does.
not.
No, she
Because she doesn't like much.
She loves me and sunflowers.
Number
in
3,
that order.
sort the things that you admire or respect into groups so that your letter has some sort of organised body and won't just sound like a list of bullet points.
Groups is not necessary. What about order of importance? Like, I could start with the really unimportant, like Hayley. I really like it the way you walk to the exact same spot at 9 a.m. every day.
So I can find you.
By the fountain.
Like my nan with Alzheimer's who always wanders to the same bit of the post office.
So that could be like number one. And then by the end, I'm talking just about her grey brain.
But I think Oh, it's gone from pink to grey.
It depends on the time of day, boys.
Now, I used to be an English teacher, so I used to have to teach this sort of thing prior to. You might not want to just go least to most.
Oh, why?
Because, well, if she reads the first two, because you've said it's going to be very, very long.
Yes,
so I'm assuming
long.
you're dwelling on each point for a page or two.
I can't stress enough it's a chapter.
Okay.
Per feature.
If she has to read a whole chapter that's just like,
the way you walk to the fountain.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the panda walking to it.
She's going to be like, this is the best he can come up with.
No, but I'll fill it with poetry, won't I?
No.
Won't I? No. I probably will, mate.
Because and then she gets, point 2, this is going to be, and it's still just a bit shit. She's not going to wait until the very end. You've got to make sure, and of course, save the best for last, right? But maybe you go like...
randomise them.
Not randomise, you go sort of like least, second most... Second
Say
least,
them all at once.
Most. Just have it tacked on the wall. And
like a collage.
Read. Yeah.
And with all those red lines
Maybe it could be like the sound
and in the
and
middle
the fury.
It will say, I will kill you. Because of... ...
Turn around. Examples of categories to include are personality traits.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Talents and abilities. And her opinions.
I really respect your opinions. I'd like to say that.
Now, number 4, this is an easy one. Start the letter as you would any other letter.
Dear Sir or Madam.
Tell her who you are.
My name's Isaac. We've been dating for some time.
It's a good way to start, yeah. Why you are writing and what you are writing about.
Okay, so it's objective-led letter writing.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's good because Hayley, she's pragmatic. She reads a lot of magazines because she wants to learn a lot about fashion, and that's the best way to do it in Stardew. There ain't no catwalk in Stardew Valley.
No.
They're simple folk. They enjoy... playing with pigs and things like that.
They do.
Touching up the sand and the fish.
Making a big stew for the ombudsman.
Yeah, they love to do that, and I ruin it every year.
Put your personality into it. No, I don't think you should.
No, I'm gonna.
No, don't. But don't say anything too serious, like confessing your undying love for her or admitting how much of your day is spent thinking about her.
Okay.
Don't do those things. In your case,
in my case, I want to open with my super sanity.
Well, in your case, because I'm assuming that you don't spend much of the day thinking about her at all, and so you don't want to lead with I barely ever think about you.
Just so
unless it's 9 a.m. Not interested.
Fountain time. I'm going to open with, I think about you a normal amount. That's quite good, isn't it? Hi, dear Hayley. Dear Hayley, I don't know what your surname is, comma. I'm Isaac. We know each other. From the fountain and other assorted activities, full stop. I think about you a regular amount of time in the week and in each day in the week.
See, now
I've got super sanity and I think it's a big match.
You're making an error there that's interesting because I think it's an error that the WikiHow author would make, but they're more aware of it and they don't want you to make the same mistake.
Okay.
Because this is written for fucking freaks about trying to disguise their freakishness, and that's why they have this weird freak in all the images.
Oh yes, very strange. Is there one person who does all the WikiHow art? Because
I would love to.
They really stick to one style, and that style is grotesque.
Yeah, and this guy,
eyed.
I mean, listeners can't see, but school shooter is
sort of
really
like
the
anime
watchword.
School shooter. He's written nothing,
and yet he's at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, that's creepy.
So they say things like, do not list examples that may seem stalker-like while you are describing her.
I love the way...
Stick to things that are common knowledge.
You shower, for example.
Yeah, don't say that.
I love the way...
Unless it's common knowledge in the valley how Hayley showers.
No, it's not. It's never come up in any of the dialogue trees that I've encountered.
There you go. So maybe don't go for that one.
I love the way when I root through your bin outside your house, sometimes I get stuff out of it. That's good. Because
no, again, that's not common knowledge about Hayley.
No, but that's everyone's stuff.
You're saying that one of the things you respect about her is the quality of her trash.
But I'll say it's not weird because I don't just do it to you. I root through everyone's trash.
It's not about the quantity of trash; it's the quality of trash. Yeah.
I once found a diamond.
Now the next steps are, unsurprisingly, write the body of the letter.
That's a real draw. The rest of the owl.
Write the conclusion.
Okay.
And then give it to her.
Sign it in blood.
All you have to do now is make sure she gets the letter. The best way to do this is to hand it to her in person.
Oh, fuck.
Actually...
That's where I've been going wrong.
Actually, it says, that is the only way to make sure that she gets it.
No, it's not. That's mad.
If you give it to someone else to give to her, they may read it first or just forget to give it to her altogether.
This is so clearly written by a 14-year-old at most.
Pluck up your courage and just hand her the thing. Barring that, you could mail it to her in theory.
But in practice,
But then you would
Royal Mail would probably rob it.
This is an interesting sort of good point, but still. But then you would have to explain why you want her mailing address. Good luck and happy writing.
Yeah, that'd be fine because I've got a detailed map of everyone in Stardew with all their addresses and where they live.
It's a good job there's cyber people who can't hear you.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, I'm assuming here that you've written the letter, you've handed it to Hayley in person, you've forced her to read it on the spot, all 73 pages front and back.
Yep.
She likely burst into tears.
Yeah,
She probably
out of love and
She
joy.
probably spoke to the authorities, but they sort of calmed her down a bit.
Yeah, no, that bit probably didn't happen.
She's given you a chance, and things have actually been going well.
Yeah.
But then we come to that most auspicious of months.
Oh fuck.
In fact, it's just the first day of this month. And that month is April.
April Fool's month.
And you may want to know how to April Fool your girlfriend.
That is important because relationships, I've often said, live or die by the quality and the quantity of April Fooling that you give unto your SO.
And like what's important is that you're big on pranking anyway.
Yeah,
you're
huge.
big on the
I'm
pranks.
a huge prankster. I love to gotcha people.
You're big on the Reddit April Fool, but I have it on good authority that Hayley, she's not on Reddit.
No,
she's a bit of a
not.
noob.
She doesn't. They don't have internet in Stardew, I don't think.
So there's two different methods that they've got here,
Uh-huh.
each of which includes a couple of options, right? And the first method here is pulling a prank in your girlfriend's home.
In her home, okay.
In her home.
So we're not living together, Hayley and I, at this point.
No, you're not living together at this point.
Okay.
I mean, you're not living together at this point anyway either, are you? Like,
I mean, we could be. I just
Well, you're
chose
not.
not. I like my own space in Stardew.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
not
in life.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, number one, it's a classic, is fill her room with balloons.
I was thinking aphids, but balloons would work
Now,
as well.
you'll see this picture here for that one.
Yeah, there's not one balloon.
There's a man who's just lifted up her dressing
That's
table.
very weird.
Fill her room with balloons. An easy, fun prank is to blow up a bunch of balloons and fill her room with them.
It's not, may I say, very eco-friendly.
Do this when she's out at work or over at a friend's house. Make sure the balloons fill the room completely. What I like there is that it has to tell you to do it while she's out, as if
you'd absolutely suffocate
you're going
her.
to be upstairs. She's in the living room, just hearing you,
Or just in bed
out.
in the same room.
You're just throwing her in.
Please, don't do that anymore.
Shut the door after you've filled the room, so she's in for a fun surprise when she opens her bedroom door.
It's not that fun.
Now,
It's not that fun.
but wait for it.
Go on.
There's a sort of sub point here. Go for balloons in your girlfriend's favourite colour to add something a little special to the prank.
That's good because it's funny and thoughtful.
Yeah.
What would be funnier and more thoughtful is if you could find one of those rare species of bat that once it lives somewhere, you have to look after them. If you could fill her room with those, then she's got a bat sanctuary.
She's got a
like
bat
it or
sanctuary,
not.
and she's probably going to have to move in with you.
Yeah, that's true. Oh no, it's backfired.
Yeah.
It's bat-fired.
Oh,
Shit, put that in the
explain
April
that
Fools.
later. Number two. Now, can't say that they've branched out too much here.
Is it balloon based?
Cover a room in post-it notes instead.
That's even less funny than balloons because it takes up less space.
Another good way to prank her space is to cover her room in bright post-it notes from top to bottom.
It's not funny.
Layer the post-it notes all over her furniture, the walls, and the windows of her room. Put post-it notes on her computer and other items.
That's really bad.
Now this time...
I'm just picturing, I would be fucking furious if someone did this.
This time, the sub-point is, do this when she is away for the night or out of town. That way, when she comes home, she'll be in for a fun surprise.
What? So she's been on holiday. She's got like 3 huge suitcases just come in from Heathrow.
Here's my suggestion.
Oh, I just
do
want to lie
both.
down in my room.
She
Oh fuck! I've
opens
got a
the door.
forest of balloons to slash through.
She gets through the balloons. Everything's post-it notes.
I just lie down on the paper cut. That's a fucking stupid idea.
Number 3, we're really
What
going
are we
for
putting in
it.
our room now?
Wrap her in foil.
What? That's not funny.
Tinfoil is a cheap, easy way to pull a prank on your girlfriend. Wrap all the items in her bedroom in tinfoil. Put tinfoil all over the items in her bathroom or her living room. Choose a room she uses often and make it harder for her to access by using tinfoil.
The original joke. That's so weird.
Subpoint, if you have the time and energy, wrap her belongings in several layers of tinfoil. This will make it harder for her to unwrap each item.
Wow. Could get it like a
You
big...
could wrap all of her
phone could
sunflowers
be the size
in.
of a fucking car. Why are all of these so anti-environmental?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Sponsored by big consumables, big household consumables.
I'm glad you asked because we're moving on to a slightly different one for the final prank in this section.
I just hope that this one, because all of them so far have been about adding stuff, I'm hoping that...
Place toast in her shower.
Sorry?
Place toast in her shower.
Right.
Make her shower nice and toasty
by
placing slices of toast in her shower. Position freshly toasted slices of bread in her bathtub. Then wait for her reaction when she goes to take a shower or a bath.
What would it be?
Why is all the toast?
What the fuck is that?
In the shower.
If I had a shower and looked down and started feeling mushy toast permeating my pores...
You'd have stepped in.
I would break up with this person on the spot. That would be it. Hayley or no Hayley. Toast in the shower is
the image
clear
here
line
does
in
look
the
a
sand.
bit like he's drowning her as well, which is
God.
not great. She's not in the photo, she's in the bath.
Pushed below the surface.
So you don't think Hayley would appreciate toast?
Hayley quite correctly would hate all of those things.
That's okay, that's fair enough.
And so would I, and that's why we get on. We both have so much in common when it comes to hated pranks.
Method 2 is giving her prank items.
That's something. This could be quite good. Here you go.
So the first one here is give her a fake parking ticket.
Oh, yeah.
As people will know, in the Stardew Valley,
you can't move from motorways and parking spaces. It's central. Give her a fake parking ticket is a stupid thing to say as well, because you don't just hand it to someone.
But there's a fantastic bit at the end here where it says, make sure you tell your girlfriend that the ticket is a prank and not real, especially if she seems very worried. Say to her, April Fools, and rip up the ticket.
Fuck, that's good. Do that with real tickets, why not?
Yeah.
Probably nothing.
Wish I had.
Yeah.
Point number 2 here, and this is...
Is it on brand?
It's right down your alley.
Okay. Down it rather than up it.
Replace her toothpaste with mayonnaise.
Oh! How?
I knew you'd like that.
My thing is, neither my girlfriend or Hayley get toothpaste out of a jar, typically, which is the normal mayonnaise.
Squeeze out her toothpaste and replace it with mayonnaise.
Don't pretend you could put toothpaste back into the toothpaste tub or mayonnaise into the toothpaste.
Basically, when it's empty,
Nonsense.
You put the nozzle of one of those squirty bottles of the mayonnaise in there and just squeeze.
No, it would happen. It's a very particular sphincter.
Do this when she's sleeping or away for the day. Just imagine the situation. You're in bed. You wake up.
Yeah.
You roll like, Annalise is gone. Oh no, it's not morning. It's the middle of the night. You're like,
okay.
One of your podcasts is still going. Annalise is gone. That's weird.
That is weird.
The bathroom light seems to be shining a little bit.
That's odd.
You pull back the cover. You stand up.
Hayley?
You go... You probably don't say that for us. You get dumped. You go into the bathroom. There she is. Lights on. She's like huddled over the sink like a fucking heroin addict or something. And one hand, tube of toothpaste. God. That's emptied all over the floor. And then she's just...
Not even down the sink.
Spooning mayo.
No respect. With a pipette, no doubt.
What could either of you say?
If a bit of mayonnaise touched my toothbrush and then tooth, I would come down on this flat with the fury of 1,000 suns. My rage could not be contained. You know me, I can count on the fingers of one finger the amount of times I've got angry in the last 5 years. I would be fucking apoplectic with rage. It's the most despicable substance. The pale hell. To think that it would go between my teeth. It fills me with a bristling.
I just love the idea that you wouldn't notice
hate.
You'd put that on your brush.
I don't look at the toothpaste all the time. I might notice from the viscosity because I'm very careful with the squeeze. I've perfected that squeeze over the years. Just the right amount.
God bless you.
Just the right angle. But it's a horrible idea. You should report this article.
Now, number 3 is interesting because you were talking about a lack of ecological
concern.
Sort of nous.
What's the next one? Fucking fill a room with crude oil and penguins.
The opposite. This one, it's using the previous prank. It's make fake Oreos by replacing the cream with toothpaste.
Okay. So it's a chain of pranks. And then what are we going to use that cream for?
Sending her a prank text message.
Oh, made of Oreo cream.
When she sends you a text, respond with...
Respond what? From me? How's this a prank?
Oh, hang on a minute. Careful on the cynicism there, on the disdain. You haven't heard what they've got to say yet. That's true.
It's probably very funny and good.
When she sends you a text, respond with a message that says, "This number has been disconnected. Please contact your provider."
Dunked.
You can also respond with a message like, "Who dis?"
Fuck off. Wow, that's very...
Or, "I don't have this number in my contacts. Sorry."
Oh, that's very good.
If your girlfriend seems very confused by the message,
you better
she's a fucking simp. You can send her a text that says "April Fools," so she knows that you are joking.
Fuck. You'd have to, wouldn't you? They'd be baffled by that.
Give her a glitter bomb.
A glitter bomb, okay.
Do not throw the glitter bomb at her, as this can result in injury.
What is a glitter bomb? Well, I mean, I understand
here it's a tube with some glitter in it.
Oh, yes, I do know those. I think you light something and it blows up with glitter.
Now, this last one is very you.
Oh.
It's create a fake proposal.
That's very me.
Put a ring pop in a ring box and wrap it with a bow. Then give it to your girlfriend as a gift. Watch her reaction as she pulls out the ring pop rather than an actual engagement ring.
Oh, that would be sad.
This prank can be intense. And should only be done if your girlfriend has a very good sense of humour.
Very good is such a funny way of referring.
She may get upset at you for this type of prank, so do it at your own risk.
Fucking hell.
It's very funny that within 2 pranks, this goes from send her a message saying "Who dis?" to
pretend you want to share your lives.
Ruin her emotionally, psychologically terrorise her.
Yeah, it really escalated in a big way. And I didn't think that whoever wrote this had it in them, to be honest, because the rest was so very weak.
I think that's part of what they wanted you to think. They wanted you to get too comfortable.
I was tricked.
Now, it's difficult. It's difficult because we're talking about romance. We're talking about ways in which but
big topics for big boys.
What we said at the start of the show, something that you I believe brought in, is that there is no real way to sometimes separate the romantic from the sexual.
Is there not?
Sometimes there's not.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
Sometimes there's not. For ace people, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But for people who have a sex drive of any kind, when you're in love, that's going to be there in some way. And I think it would be prudish of us to ignore the fact that, after writing that letter about how much you respect her and this very fun April Fool's.
Hayley's going to want to fuck.
She's a sexual being.
In a sunflower field.
Yeah. And
with my cat Applejuice watching.
So I think that we should...
I don't know what she's into.
I think that
I respect her love of animals.
I think that we should
her inclusive
approach the idea that you are going to be spending some intimate time together. And whilst...
Does Stardew let you do that?
Well, I don't know. It's
got a fucking minigame. That's crazy.
I don't know. But what I'm going to say here is that you need to be prepared.
Just in case.
And I'm not going to give you tips here, neither is Mr. WikiHow, on the actual mechanics of it. But we're going to talk to you about how you approach a sensitive aspect of the sexual process.
Okay.
One that I know is close to your heart, and one that's going to be difficult.
In the pixel world.
In any.
Okay.
But like I say, we start you for now, but just think about this for your real life as well.
I do want to say I won't be taking any lessons from the analog you're using, Stardew. I won't be taking them out of that context.
Now this one here, this is I think the most important of the ones that we've got today.
Okay, so you followed your rule of leading with the most important, which is good.
It's an 8-step. I never said to do that.
I meant ending.
We're not quite ending, but there's a reason for that. This is an 8-step process, and it's entitled "How to Admit to a Foot Fetish."
Oh no! In 8 steps, I'll give you one that you can use for free. Fill our room with post-it notes, all of which say, I'm a big foot freak. I'm the Tarantino of town.
Part 1.
Right.
Laying the groundwork.
Is that a sort of pun about where feet live on the ground?
Now, I think one thing, like them or loathe them.
Yeah, I'm the second one.
you've got to respect what the author here is doing because they're giving some good advice, which is don't fess up right away.
Okay.
That's point number one. If you want your partner to be okay with your foot fetish, then the worst thing you can do is blurt it out right away.
Yeah.
If you're just in the middle of your first date or even kissing for the first time, saying, I have a foot fetish.
Saying anything in the middle of kissing for the first time seems like a poor choice.
It's likely to turn you in the wrong direction.
Imagine shouting down someone else's mouth.
I fucking love toes.
Oh.
If you want to tell your partner about your foot fetish and get the best results, then you have to wait for the perfect time.
I don't want to
when
think about
you know
what the
each
best
other a little
results
better. Ideally, you should wait until you have a sexual experience before you discuss your foot fetish. Otherwise, it may be too much too soon. On the other hand, you don't want to wait too long.
Oh, why?
If you walk down the aisle before admitting your lifelong obsession with feet, then you may run into some serious
trouble. It does
trouble.
not say if you walk down the aisle before admitting your lifelong obsession of... It does say that.
Yeah,
this person is a real oddity.
Now you'll see here, things are hotting up in the imagery there.
Who drew that?
Part 2, start touching your partner's feet when you're ready.
When you're ready? What about them?
Or maybe that comes in later.
That's not right, is it?
Once you've gotten more comfortable with your partner, it's time to test the waters. If you found yourself...
By which I mean, test the hands or the legs.
If you found yourself in bed, or in various degrees of undress...
I found myself in bed.
You can try kissing your partner's stomach, legs, and then...
Stomach?
Just move your way down to the feet.
That's an organ.
Don't go straight for the feet, or you may freak your partner out. You can also
this is based on such clear experience. And, fucking hell, Tom, we've gone straight for the feet again. You promised you'd go stomach first.
You can also just start touching your partner's feet if you're watching TV and you want to give him or her a sexy foot massage.
Right. That's very context dependent.
Important sub-point here.
Not at the theatre.
Don't start licking or sucking on your partner's feet yet.
During the TV watching.
This may be too much too soon as well.
It is. It is definitely.
Just a quick...
Don't show me pictures like that ever again.
Part 3 is see how they react.
Fuck off!
How does your...
For example.
Could be, yeah. Interesting that you jumped to that, but, you know. How does your other half react when you go for the feet?
For them.
Do you hear murmurs of approval?
Oh,
the occasional, oh, that feels good. And see a nice relaxed smile on her face or his face?
That's not relaxed.
If so, then things are moving in the right direction. If your partner pulls away or even outright says that they don't like it when you touch their feet, then it's time to abort the mission.
As in, break up with them.
If your partner reacts negatively, don't be discouraged.
No,
you should.
You definitely must be.
You may still be able to turn things around. However, this does mean that you shouldn't go for the feet again until you have the big talk.
There's like a cool down period on this move, this ability.
Just quick.
Fucking hell, he's cackling away. Looks like he's about to bite her instep out.
She looks sort of dead as well, which I'm slightly more worried
I think
about.
the problem is she was never alive in the first place. It's quite
no.
clearly a plastic dolly.
Number 4, if your partner reacts positively, compliment their feet.
Okay, this is a really complicated flowchart already. We've got like some if-thens.
Don't go overboard.
What could you say?
Just say, you have such sexy feet.
Now, for me, that lacks subtlety.
I just love your feet. Don't make it sound like a fetish yet.
How could it not?
Just tell your partner that he or she specifically has amazing feet.
Rather than everyone in general.
This will make it easier for your partner to swallow the news than if you flat out stated that you categorically love all feet before paying special attention to your partner's feet.
This person has thought too much about this. Like, that is a wrinkle of this flowchart logic that need not exist. Too much.
Additionally, now this is some interesting real world thinking here. Additionally, if you're a guy and really feel like you need to mention her feet, you can compliment her about it when you're having a night out. You
really feel like you need to.
Isaac. Everyone sees through this charade here where you're pretending that A, you don't have a foot fetish, and B, that we haven't all been in that situation where you're just randomly standing there with your loved one and you think, I just
I've
got a
shout it from the rooftops. New York, New York.
coming down the mountain with big stone tablets that say, I fucking love your feet.
Them trotters.
You can say,
I didn't like
your feet look great in those shoes, but don't overdo it. Or, little will she know, you have a foot fetish and think you only like her for her feet.
This person doesn't understand that any woman is going to see through this charade in a millisecond. They already knew before. They've probably seen this article in your history, like before you even execute thinking about.
They've seen you flicking through it on your phone while you're in the cinema. Now that was all laying the groundwork.
I don't want to know anymore.
Well, I'm afraid you need to.
I needn't.
You need to because...
Can we talk about post-it notes again?
You know what the other option is here?
What
the
is
other possibility is that maybe Hayley is a foot fetishist.
She's not. I've checked.
And you're gonna have to know what her playbook is, so you know when you can best react without damaging her feelings.
I'm not all about kink shaming, but we all have preferences, and mine is such that if Hayley came out as a latent FF,
burn down her house.
I'd fucking bomb her. No, I wouldn't. That's a bit much.
Part 1 is pick the right time to do it. Now, you've got to be fair.
Easter.
Credit where it's due. That's good advice.
Feet out Fridays.
When is the right time to admit to a foot fetish? There's no golden rule, but you probably should not do it in the middle of a hookup. Instead, pick a time when you and your special someone are hanging out and feeling good about each other, while you have some privacy. You can tell your girl or guy when you're back at your place and you think you may be close to hooking up again.
Okay.
Fessing up in the middle of hooking up or cuddling may give you a reaction you may not be ready for.
Really lays into that a lot.
And can interrupt the mood, though not ruin it for good, they say.
That's an important caveat. I like how transparently this person did blurt this out in the middle of...
How do you think this conversation's...
It's gone poorly. I mean, she's doing what I can only describe as a nominal hand on the shoulder while staring contemptuously off the camera.
Now, this is where, for me, the article takes something of a sinister turn.
Oh, for you, this is where it takes
because I mean,
me,
prior to that, not sinister so much.
It's lacking a basic respect for consent.
No,
foot
it's
consent.
not. What do you mean?
He kept going on about how you can not, even if she doesn't like it, just keep giving it a go.
No, he didn't say that at all.
He did.
He literally said, if she doesn't like it,
don't do it just
stop.
yet.
He said, stop until you've had the conversation. So that's you've
I
unfairly lampooned the article there.
I detect an underlying.
No, that is there, right? But they've hidden it well, I think, or better than they could have done up until this point.
Okay.
Now here is where
gloves are off, socks are off.
Point 2 here is act a little nervous.
Act a little nervous. Okay. About what?
Though your foot fetish may be something you've had for years, and you have, and seems perfectly normal to you,
No, it doesn't.
You should be considerate of your partner. Sure, you think feet are hot. Plenty of people share your feelings.
Well, it's not that many.
However, to a person without a foot fetish, this news will seem a bit unexpected. Not if you've been
executing
on their feet
these
for
steps in a sort of constantly repeating cycle.
Saying
for
their
6
feet
months.
look nice in those Doc Martens she's wearing.
Your feet look good. Like the fucking
so you shouldn't
club.
just drop this comment like you're announcing that you think it's about to rain. Say, there's something I have to tell you.
Is that how you deliver it? Can you deliver it properly now? How would you? Imagine I'm Fat Foot Martha, we'll call me. Famous in town for having...
For me, it's all about the fatness of the feet.
Yeah, it's fat with a PH and feet with a PH, which is a complicated idea. But yeah, it's like cool is what I'm getting at. I'm just known for having these excellently sculpted hooves, I suppose.
She's got to know then that I'm into this anyway.
No, she doesn't. Because
she doesn't realise she's a humble person.
Yeah, she doesn't call herself that. It's not a Twitter bio or anything.
What's the situation? What are we doing? Where are we?
You're at a bowling alley.
Well,
and you're at that.
We've already ignored the steps about you're back at home.
No,
you've got
you're just by yourselves at the bowling alley. You've rented out a lane for yourself, for you and Martha, for your first date.
But then I think she's going to think too much into was he looking at my feet when I had to swap for the bowling shoes?
Well, this is the thing. This is the opportunity I'm giving you. Is the moment of not. Now look, I can't stress this enough. Not when we're swapping to the bowling shoes. That's much too early. But bowling takes longer than you think, I've found. Especially when you pay for a few games. You're a few beers into the bowling experience. You're doing very well. You've seen the strike animation. It's 10-pin Tuesday. Cool. It's something like £1.87 a Stella or some very arbitrary and odd price. And the moment has come. You've done the pick and mix scam where you drop the 20p and pull it back out and you can still turn it to get the free teller or whatever it is. Those hard bananas. And now it's time to swap out of the bowling shoes back to your originals. You hand them off. You are putting on your boots, whatever. And now it's Fat Martha's turn. Fat Foot Martha. Action.
Fat Foot Martha?
Sorry?
What
do you call me?
Marthy baby.
Yeah. Yes, Declan.
There is
Are you talking to me, Delkin?
Yeah, I don't want to alarm you.
Go on.
But there's something I have to tell you.
Okay, would you want to tell me after? Because I'm just swapping my shoes back.
I want to suck on your foot. On your foot. Foot 1 and foot 2, as I call them.
Call the bowling police!
We got ourselves a purr!
In my head, they just came diving out of the bit where the ball was coming back out. Whee!
One out of each.
Doing like a roly-poly straight out. Okay, well, you fucked that, didn't you?
Don't act too nervous.
You acted not at all nervous. You acted too brazen.
I'd been emboldened.
By what?
By the far right.
Oh, no. They've got to you too.
I can't get enough.
I told you not to be on YouTube.
I tell you what,
for too
this
long.
Brexit day, it's really done it for me. I'm telling people left, right and centre how much I love their feet.
Tommy's claimed another.
Don't act too nervous or your partner will be nervous too.
Yeah.
Just act nervous enough that your partner will see that you really care what she thinks.
Meaningless. Acting nervous a bit doesn't imply that you care. It implies that you're setting up some weird scam in this context.
Point 3 is spit it out. Mm-hmm. Be honest. Just say, hey, I have a thing for feet. Or, I want you to know that I have a foot fetish.
Okay.
I don't think you should ever refer to your own fetish as
a fetish.
X fetish.
Yeah, probably not.
I have it. You just, the first one's closer to it. Like, I'm into this, or I have a thing for this. Could we try this?
Yeah.
Like, not... I know I'm a fucking nonce for loving this.
Yeah, it does seem a bit like you're diagnosing something that you feel shame about. Maybe people do. I mean, but I might be part of the problem there.
This here is maybe the worst sentence I've ever read. There's no need to say why, or how long you've had it, or how much you love sexy feet.
There was no need to repeat the adjective.
This person was getting so horny writing.
Was masturbating furiously.
Yeah. Just tell your partner, let it out, and feel the relief of finally fessing up flood over you.
Wow, nice.
Make eye contact, look at his or her face, and wait for a reaction. If you hear nothing, you can ask, what do you think?
Ta-da!
But generally, it's a good idea to give your partner some time to process the news.
Yeah, that does sound generally positive.
Part 4.
Fucking hell.
It's the final part. React appropriately to your partner's feelings. There are a few ways that this news can be taken.
And I've seen
the best
more.
case scenario is if your partner says, really? That's kinky. I don't mind at all.
Okay.
If someone said that selection of words to me, I'd know they hated it.
That's kinky. I don't mind at all.
That's kinky. I don't mind at all.
They're backing out the window.
Yeah.
They're like doing the Homer Simpson going into the bush.
However, it's more likely that your partner will want more information. Or won't.
Which the step before explicitly denied us giving them.
Explicitly said,
do not apologise, do not explain.
Never apologise.
Yeah.
They won't quite know how to react.
When you say feet...
How much of the foot are we talking? Is it just the ends?
Is it ankles?
The heel? All the way up to the
The
calf?
Achilles. Now we're talking.
The worst case scenario is if your partner is completely not accepting your fetish and thinks that feet are completely gross. You've said your piece though. And now it's
not like a fucking motion in the House of Commons.
And now it's time to be mature and to deal with your partner's reaction in a calm and adult fashion. Whatever happens, you should be proud of yourself for being honest.
This person killed people for not loving his loving of feet.
If your partner accepts your foot fetish on the spot, great. Prepare for a night of kinky foot fun. If your partner needs some time to deal with it, take things slow. Don't try to touch his or her feet too much during your next kissing session.
I fucking love there's a really good comedy in the idea of having admitted to it, and then the person not being against it, but being kind of lukewarm.
Yeah.
But just the fucking timing.
Still
and
trying to make
impact
it
of just
sound
being, like,
incidental.
Casually,
Yeah.
oh, how did my hand end up 4 feet lower than everything?
Whoa! I went to kiss your mouth and
Whoops, I'm slipping.
If your partner needs some time to deal with it, take things slow. And then if your partner is just flat out not into it, then there's no need to try to force it. After all, life is short and you have a foot fetish.
What an amazing sentence. Get that on a gravestone. Life is short. And you, dear reader, feeling seen by these graves.
Now it's up to you to decide if you can handle a relationship that doesn't allow you to indulge your foot fetish. There is also a chance that over time they will warm up to it and become curious after a while.
Tolerant
There
at
is
best.
not.
There is simply not.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I didn't need you to tell me any of
Well,
this
you
information.
did, and that's the thing. Like,
Well,
your own
it's
denial
not good that
only
you
makes
told
it
me
more
that.
obvious. It's a lady doth protest too much.
No, it's not. She's, if anything, not protested nearly enough, and I'm honoured. I'm sort of bewildered by my own tolerance in that segment, which is good of me. You're right.
It's big of you.
Now, you mentioned that you had something to close us out with.
I do.
I'm concerned about it because you have spoken to this trajectory of like building tension, building theme, and I'm really worried and alarmed, and I'll say willing to pull the plug on the whole episode about what's coming next.
No, you shouldn't be.
Okay,
because
that's a real
I've gone for
load
something
off.
that's way more within the usual bounds
Okay.
of the show and indeed of our
Yeah.
interaction. I will be honest.
Which
there are some
hitherto
things.
there's been very little foot chat between us.
I'll be honest. Some things you've said in the show have made me rethink even doing this part
Okay,
of it.
that's weird.
Because it was supposed to be an emotional moment,
Right.
sort of a genuine moment.
Yeah, go on.
And you sort of really early on just kind of poo-pooed
That's
the whole
my
idea of
defense
us.
mechanism, though. I use humor as a
That
defense.
doesn't excuse you.
I come from a broken home,
It doesn't excuse any of the.
and when you're a second
Because as-
generation immigrant, like I am,
as
it can be.
a self-proclaimed super sane, you should be able to outthink that. And indeed, you
you're
pride
right.
yourself on your psychopathic ability to wear any face you want, and yet you chose to wear the face that
I chose
mugged
to
me
wear
off.
a face of honesty.
So,
If you feel mugged, I suggest you examine the mugging.
interesting. Okay.
Go on though, let's out with it.
Well, because the final part was something that you might, have wanted to try in the Valley of Stardew.
Yeah, maybe.
And that, to bring us back to a more temporal theme is how to write a Valentine poem that rhymes.
Okay.
How to write a Valentine poem that rhymes. And I thought, to help you out here and for the listenership, that I would use this
You follow the steps.
to write one for you.
For me, about me, or for me to give to Hayley?
For you about
Me, that's lovely.
you. So I've done that.
Yeah, that's good.
And we're going to close with that now.
Okay, that sounds
Just
good.
know I don't mean a word of it. Part one, and that's not step one, that's part one.
Okay, so it's
It's a lengthy process. It's a 12-step thing, a bit like AA.
similar outcomes.
Get the creative juices flowing. That's part one.
Don't love that.
Number one, brainstorm. For a perfect Valentine's Day poem, sit down and think about love. Start writing down words or even draw pictures that remind you of your sweetheart. Professional poets often use this technique to begin capturing words and concepts later used in verse.
Capturing words is a nice idea.
I decided I'm a very artistic person anyway.
Yeah, of course.
I am a poet. So I didn't have to do this bit, but I thought I would indulge the writer here and just give it a go. Brainstorm I thought a bit derivative. So I've called mine the Love Storm. And I gave myself.
And there is a storm. People will be able to hear it
Exactly.
outside, probably on the mic. I don't know if it's picking up.
I
Storm
gave
Dennis.
myself sort of 10 to 12 seconds
Yeah.
to just write down some words that I associate with you. And then I gave myself just 1 minute
to turn them
to
into...
do some drawings as well.
He's just shown me a little pack of drawings over there.
So I'll go through the words first.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hold all questions till the end of the whole process. if you
Sure,
can.
no problem.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate,
Yeah.
Kidney Stones, Movis,
Yeah.
V-Bar, Sasquatch,
I don't understand that one.
Nooch, and the willow disco.
Okay.
I've got
Nooch's nutritional yeast. What's Sasquatch all about?
I
just
you know,
I guess
you
can't
and me,
explain
like
the
when
creative
we
process.
just that's just what we're
Just
always
out
on
there
about.
Sasquatching.
Now, I'm just gonna obviously the list is we'll probably post it on the Twitter.
Yeah, well,
but
of
listeners
course.
won't be able to see it until then. But I just thought maybe you'd like to just describe, just take that, just describe the things that you're seeing.
There's some great stuff here. So in the top left, it's very abstract. Sort of looks like the Avengers logo has been put on a yacht's flag for reasons unknown. Then there is an arrow going to the left. I assume that's a reference to my left-wing credentials, my love of
Your
left-wing
left-handedness.
progress, my left-handedness, all of that. Below
Your
that,
limp.
no, not a limp. I don't have one of those. Below that, there's a lovely heart, very nicely realised, and inside it says bug tube, and I guess that's the entomology that I've always.
Well, it's the
because I
reference
saved
to-
a worm the other day.
It's the reference to when you spoke about that tube
No,
that
I
you would
didn't
use to
speak about
suck
anything.
bugs out of the ground with.
I wouldn't use it so much as I was taught about it in school, and we used it for a few days and weeks
And you,
as a
so,
practical.
but you did use.
It wasn't used. Sounds recreational. I was learning.
You
I was
put a tube
studying
into the
bugs.
ground, and then you inhaled bugs through it.
You either blow or suck, and depending on which one you do, you either get a bug in a jar or a
Or bug
bug in
all
your
over.
mouth. It's a real toss-up. Then the third one has got a sort of, it's a bit of it's a skull, possibly fractured, which is concerning, with very big buggy eyes and buck teeth. Now, I don't know what that refers to. I've got nice teeth. I've got quite buggy eyes, I'll give you that. The last one, I don't have a skull fracture though. I've never banged my head in a big way, touch wood, is a drawing of Italy's own icon, I suppose, Joe Downs notwithstanding. It's a him, Mario, and he is saying wahoo. His gloves are on. He's got the big M. You can see he's hanging dong. That's clear as day. And all in all, it's a lovely mélange of imagery.
Thank you, and I think that you'll agree it's
something.
poetic.
Yeah, it's something.
poetic,
It's some
yeah.
sort of poetry.
Now, the next was again a stage a little below my level, which was read or listen to love poetry.
What did you opt for?
If you're still having trouble, reading a Shakespearean sonnet might spark your creativity, or listening to audio recordings of famous love poems could help you finally
That's a really
unleash
good idea.
your ardour on the page. Sounds a bit
on the page
onanistic,
sounds
doesn't
horrible, yeah.
it? I didn't have a lot of time.
Uh-huh.
I just picked the first three kind of like works of love that came to mind.
Yeah.
Which was Sonnet 116.
Okay.
Not the,
Yeah.
DNA by Kendrick Lamar
Oh, that is a work of love.
and Dulce et Decorum Est.
Also a work of love.
Yeah.
Primarily, yeah.
So that was like, we're going all right there.
Yeah.
I'm in the mood. Obviously, I could have skipped those steps, but
And did you spew your ardour onto the page at this point? Or
No,
because you were in the living room, so I guess.
I don't get me wrong. I was ready to burst forth.
Wow.
But that wasn't quite what I was being told
Yeah,
to do.
you were edging the poems.
I'm still just getting the creative juices flowing, but I assumed that meant internally.
Okay.
Record personalised details. A truly memorable poem is one that incorporates intimate details from real life. Writing about things such as your partner's likes and dislikes, pet names,
Yep.
and shared experience adds an endearing touch to your verses.
Definitely does, yeah.
So I made a list of those. I
Oh,
made
go on.
just some. I just like a quick three.
Just
again.
some of
I
the
was,
common
I was just
ones.
trying to rush through. Nearly getting murdered by Joe.
Oh, classic.
Following you home after class.
Classic.
And our landlord died this week.
Oh, the classic
So
triumvirate.
it's been a big few
God
years.
rest her soul, may we say. Yeah,
Sure.
we did.
Develop a list of rhyming words.
See, Isaac's a challenge to
In
rhyme.
keeping with the theme. Well, I didn't. I just figured I wouldn't mention your name.
That's fine, yeah. Keep it vague.
It's
You can
called,
reuse it,
It's called a poem for Isaac.
but you could scratch
I
that.
could easily. I mean, the memories in it probably wouldn't line up, but
That's fine. People will think, oh, it's a metaphor.
or they'll be so like embarrassed about not remembering.
They'll be like, oh yeah, that was a good time.
Now, obviously, I'm not giving these away before we get to the
No,
poem,
no.
because I don't want to spoil it. Part 2 is arranging your poem.
That's rough, that part.
Now, this is some good advice. Now, I know that I mentioned earlier I am a poet, but this is something that I hadn't actually ever thought of before.
So you learned something new.
I did. I did, and I'm not ashamed to say it.
That's lovely
I'm not
to
ashamed
see here.
Choose the number of lines.
Oh, in advance.
Yeah.
So
will 4 verses be enough to broadcast your devotion?
Doubt it.
6?
Yeah.
8?
That's heading in the right direction.
Generally speaking, the newer your relationship, the fewer lines your poem
That's
should
what I always say. The newer, the fewer. That's what I teach.
Your new crush could be overwhelmed by a 16-line sonnet, whereas your partner of a year might find it adorable.
Might think, why not 32 lines?
Well, this is it. You're playing a losing game.
It's a challenge.
I'll be honest, I've gone for something simple, not necessarily...
I'm a simple kind of person.
not too complex.
Yeah.
I know that you're no fan of, this kind of enjambment where there's no real reason why you hate it. Yeah.
And I love simple things. There's that. They say, sing God a simple song. Louder, louder. Make it up as you go along, louder, louder. Blah, blah, blah. God loves all simple things. And I guess that's just another thing here.
That's just... Decide on your rhyme scheme. After you've determined the number of verses, you should decide how you want the rhymes arranged. Placing words that sound similar to each other at the end of each phrase is known as an end rhyme.
An end rhyme.
This is the easiest and most popular option for a do-it-yourself love poem. If that form is too limited, however, there are many other variations you can experiment with over time. It weirdly doesn't mention...
To rhyme wherever you want.
Keep the same number of syllables in each line. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't have a lot of time, so I don't think I did.
That's fine. Syllables overrated.
Now, they've got an example here. Mm-hmm. You are beautiful.
Good.
You are very bright.
Yeah.
Hang out more with me. You'll be out of sight.
Oh, no. It's going to fucking murder. That's bad news.
And then it says... It says a little too triumphantly after that. Each verse contains exactly 5 syllables. And it means line. But what are you going to do?
That's a terrifying thing to say to someone.
If you're unsure how to count the number of syllables, there are several online tools to assist
Check out my other article. 12 easy steps to count your syllables.
They've got a next one. Record your poem. Now they mean write.
Yeah, why do they keep saying record?
Laying out your emotions in verse can be a tough task. In fact, they've said can be tough task. Mm-hmm. But if you've taken the time to generate ideas and create a basic structure to convey your thoughts...
Should be easy now.
Yeah, well, it will happen naturally. And they've got here, my darling, my dear, the love of my life, I only want you to know...
I'll kill you with this knife.
That when I am struggling or dealing with strife... To you is where I always go.
Fucking... What I like about that is that it's not cumbersome in its syntax.
No.
It's straight to the point.
It's everyday.
To you is where I will therefore
it's the quotidian language
be on my way to go.
That we love to see.
Yeah.
Just do it, they say, then redo it. Which, as we mentioned earlier, big rest of the fucking owl moment there.
Yeah, lovely.
Then they've got finalising your work. Think how best to present the poem. I'm going to read it.
Song, maybe.
I'm going to read it out.
Maybe in the edit, you could add in some cello.
I'm just going...
Underneath.
Maybe you will. I won't be. It's up to whether you feel like doing anything.
Okay.
I'm going to just try and read...
Don't be embarrassed when you come to your
reading. No, this isn't my one.
Oh, okay.
This is the entirety of their poem.
All right. Let's have a peek.
My darling, my dear, the love... my life.
Oh, the love my life.
And you see they've done that because the next step is to correct any grammatical errors.
Nice.
So it should be, my darling, my dear, the love of my life. I only want you to know that when I am struggling or dealing with strife, to you is where I always go.
Yeah.
When trouble is looming, when problems draw near, just know that you'll always be the one who I turn to, the one who I call for, the one I pull closest to me.
That's interesting. That sort of suggests a polygamy thing going on where there are lots of different people nearby and it's more a question of who you draw in that moment towards you rather than any lasting bond.
It is struggling.
Interesting piece. Lots to think about.
So, yeah, without further ado, I suppose.
I'm ready. Hit me with it.
This is,
mate, the second poem about me in so many years on the show. It's really going to my head.
This is the poem.
Okay. I'll hide in my shirt while you read it.
I want to talk about the boy I one day followed home and how that boy lit up my life. So now we share a home.
Oh, that's an end rhyme.
Yeah,
if I'm not
there you go.
Strong start.
We've changed a lot in 6 long years. We've moved and learned and grown. I've had more jobs than most have days. And Isaac's had kidney stones.
No, it's a shame I didn't have only kidney stones, singular. It's a shame that I've had this second
I'll be honest, I got annoyed at you for that while I was writing, but...
I was annoyed too, let me tell you.
It's fine. What I thought is, that I think is what they call poetic license.
Yeah, it is.
We've written scripts, recorded pods, we've played Nintendo Switch,
True.
We've knocked on doors and lost the vote. We've escaped from Block Switch.
What could I suggest? Escaped from Block Switch.
No,
okay,
can't,
it's just an idea.
Again, we're trying to go for things you might just say, and
you sometimes do say that, don't you?
I wouldn't like to.
Okay, fair enough.
And in it all, we've shared some laughs. We've shared some beers and wine. Mm-hmm. So here on air, I'd like to ask, please be my Valentine.
Oh, of course I will.
I do like feet.
Oh, it's a no.
Oh, so close.
The Lord giveth and he snatcheth right back.
You say, at least I can read that to somebody else who may be just a little bit more open to the idea.
With whom you share beers and wine and a home. Good luck with Mark.
I played some Switch. I followed home. Yes, all these things, yeah.
Love, it's a crazy thing, isn't it? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the most important thing there is, isn't it?
It is.
It's conquering all, now and for always, and it's great of you to inject with those thick needles through the breastplate a bit of love right into this old heart. Until episode 15, the next one. I remembered now we don't say the episode numbers anymore. I've been Isaac, you've been...
I've been Declan.
Be our Valentine, please.
The bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Necessities, the bare necessities, the bare necessities of life will come to you.